Welcome to another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Paperboy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And Mr. Magazine has the patent medicine, the cure for all your ills.
Nice.
Why don't you tell us what it is, Mr. Magazine?
Well, I'm driving over here trying to come up with an idea, and something that's worked for me, I would say, could work for anybody.
Okay.
The more you put into a platform, whether it's eBay, Amazon, Etsy, whatnot, the more you're going to get out of it. Meaning, if you're spreading yourself thin on 4 platforms, and for me, eBay was horrible for a month or two.
Right.
And I took the attitude like, well, eBay stinks. Let's stop listing on eBay and put all our eggs into Amazon, the website, and so forth. Well, our eBay sales started going down even more at that point. So I started doing some digging, had some better stuff, action figures, autographs, this and that, stuff that's more aimed at eBay buyers.
Okay.
So we, loose old action figures things. So we started putting those on, pumping those on, and our sales started going up again. So it's one of those things where I don't know if it's the economy or I have good stuff or it's just because we're listing a lot more on eBay, we're getting more out of eBay. So it's one of those things where maybe if you're spreading yourself thin, it's great to have all these platforms. But if you're spreading yourself thin across them all and one of them's weak like eBay was for me, maybe start putting a lot of stuff on eBay and see how that goes for you and increase sales. I think it can't hurt, and odds are you're going to increase your sales regardless.
I agree with you 99%. I do agree with you. The only caveat that I think I would put into that would be you kind of have to know what you're doing on the site. And by that I mean, okay, I start listing on Etsy. I've never listed on there before. Oh, hey, I'm going to hit Etsy hard, and I put things on that just don't sell on Etsy.
Right.
Ditto with eBay.
Yeah.
If I put on garbage, I'm not going to sell it no matter what.
Right.
Now, you are coming in from having 20 plus years of experience on there, so you have a general idea what's going to sell.
Sure.
So when you're ramping it up wisely.
Right.
As opposed to the spaghetti method, throwing everything against the wall, seeing what'll sell, because you have the experience. Would it work if I just went to my garage, grabbed one random box of stuff, literally one random box, and handed it to a random neighborhood kid and said, list this stuff? Maybe, maybe not. I think by virtue of him listing 100 items on there, something would sell.
Right.
But it might not be worth the amount of time that is put in because it's junk that I'm listing in the first place. Doesn't mean it's not going to, 1 or 2 items in there might be good or somebody's been looking for that.
Plus, you need the knowledge of pricing it right too. So you could have 100 items that are worth $50 a piece, but if you're putting $80 a piece on there, you're not going to sell any of them.
And not taking
offers.
But
if you're selling $40 a piece, you're obviously going to sell a lot of them at that point. So it all depends. And then there's also that mysterious algorithm where maybe because I wasn't putting a lot on eBay, I got a few negatives maybe between that and my 99.7 went down to a 99.5. Then the algorithm that wasn't listed on eBay, maybe that was part of the reason, plus the economy. So it could be multiple factors, but regardless, we started putting the stuff on, and now instead of me crying about the blues, it's not great, but it's a lot better than it was, and now we're going to keep pumping out those things as we get closer to the Christmas season.
Yeah, so I absolutely agree with you that if you wisely, and I think that is the key word, I think if you wisely list on a site, no matter what site it is, you are going to do okay.
Yeah.
Whether it's Discogs, whether it's eBay, Etsy, doesn't matter, Amazon, and again, obviously if it's garbage you're listing, you're not going to be making a big sales no matter what.
Right.
Best of times, worst of times, because garbage is garbage.
Yes.
But if you're listing decent or better stuff at a reasonable price.
If you're a veteran lister and you have the multiple platforms and you know what you're doing, it's more for you to, you'll know what you can put on there and get something out of it. Where, okay, I got 500 items I can list a week on 5 different platforms, 100 per. Now I'm going to put 500 or 400 or 450 on eBay and forget everything else for a week or a month. I would almost guarantee you would have to increase some sales because you know what you're listing. You're going to put the good stuff on and it's going to sell.
Right. See, and that's where I come at it completely differently than you do, but I think one of the big reasons why is because I've got the day job. When sales are slow, and I have time, and that's one of the keys too, is when I have time, if, let's say that for some reason or other I had this week off, but my sales are slow.
Yeah.
what I tend to list in situations like that is I tend to find some of the longest tail stuff I possibly can. Because my theory is stuff's not selling right now anyway.
Right.
Do I really want to sit there and get frustrated when I put up things that should sell and they're not? Mm-hmm. Why don't I put up things that I know won't sell today?
Right.
But I know,
you'll find that one buyer that wants it at some point, a month, a year, 2 years from now.
This March
they will pay that price. Yeah.
This March 1952 French magazine will sell at some point. Mm-hmm. This illustrated London News will sell at one point. It's not going to fly off the shelf unless it happens to have something that somebody specifically is looking for today. Sure. Otherwise, it's going to sell in 5 months, a year, 2 years.
Right.
But I'll list a lot of that stuff. Mm-hmm. With my thought being, again, I don't want to bang my head against the wall and get all upset. So there's a couple of different ways to do it. So Mr. Magazine does it, but one of the big reasons why is because you and I have different needs.
Yeah.
You need to have cash flow coming in. I can survive because of the day job without the cash flow coming in from eBay for some period of time, knowing that, I'm going to get $30 for this magazine a year from now maybe, or 2 years from now maybe. Right. And for me, that works because I've also listed for the last 20 years with that theory. So go ahead.
I got to make sure my warehouse is paid, the taxes are paid, my employees are paid. Yeah. So that's something I have to do to survive regardless, first and foremost. And, if I've got to take $100 for a $140 item, I may do that if I have $50 into it. I don't care. I'm making money and I'm getting money coming in.
Right, yeah. So it's kind of interesting, a couple of different ways to look at it. Want to thank Mr. Magazine for giving us the secret to eBay. And if you could hit the like button, that's the secret to YouTube. And we'll see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.